Another important theory regarding the human development is Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. Now, what is this theory telling us? Okay. Bioecological systems theory represents child development within the context of relationship systems that comprise the child's environment. So it has something to do with whom we are exposed to. Bronfenbrenner's bioecological model is the structure of environment. So we have the first one, the microsystem. Microsystem is the layer nearest to the child. It comprises structures which the child directly interacts with. This includes your family, your school, and your neighborhood. It covers the most basic relationships and interactions that the child has in his or her immediate environment. So it's like his first home. Effects happen in two directions from these systems. We have away from the child and towards the child. So it's saying that the child is affected by people with whom he or she interacts, and in turn, these people are also affected by the child. We call this bidirectional influences. And this occurs among all levels of environment. So it is not just you who is affected by the people around you, but you influence them too. So we have the next system, it's mesosystem. This serves as a connection between the structures of the child's microsystem. This includes the interaction between parents and teachers, or parents with healthcare services, or the community and the church. So it's the link to a higher surrounding, the community. And then we have the exosystem. It refers to the bigger social system in which the child does not function directly. So this includes city government, workplace, and mass media. This influences the child's development by somehow affecting the child's microsystem. Sometimes the decisions of the government affect how the family treats a child. For example, we have a family that really encounters experience this kind of poverty. So, of course, the decisions of the government regarding their status would greatly affect on how they treat a child. They are not really going to give what the child asks, but just the necessity, and worse, not all the necessity. So it's like that. So there is really the effect. And then we have another one, the macrosystem. Macrosystem is the outermost part of the child's environment. It includes cultural values, customs, and laws. The belief system contained in one's macrosystem allows to pass to all of the interactions in the other layers and reaches the individual. So differences in beliefs, different child rearing practices, differences in development. We can't directly feel it because it is already in us. How we live is brought by our culture. We have the next one, chronosystem. It covers the elements of time as it relates to the child's environment. It involves a pattern of stability and change in the child's life. For example, predictable or there are sudden changes. Child's life, like predictable or there are sudden changes, hurried or relaxed pace. A timing of the coming of other siblings, timing of separation of parents or their death. Body changes, timing of changes in the body. Keyword here is time. It affects us, especially the time for big changes such as the birth of your siblings and other big events in your family. It affects you. So sometimes the students going to approach you, uh, if you will be teacher soon, and he is going to tell that I was not able to be like this on my normal state because I experienced this kind of thing in my family, and I am just into the process of moving on like that and adjusting like that. Okay, going back to the nature versus nurture. Combining nature and nurture, the theory explains how environment affects the child as the child goes through a predictable manner of growth. So we have the genes there. We have the combination of, because when we say nature, it has something to do with the genes, the biological factor. And when we say nurture, it has something to do with how the society he is in affect the child. So it's the combination of both. Now, what are the roles of teachers in schools? You could see here that Bronfenbrenner co-founded the Head Start publicly funded early childhood program in the US. The instability and unpredictability of family life is the most destructive force to a child's development. So, we can really say that the family, the ones we could see at home, really affect how a child develops. There is an importance of constant mutual interactions between parents and children because sometimes they say that most of their times are spent in school. So it's like how the children act while they're in school is really the ones that which are taught by school, but it's not. It comes from home. If the relationships on the immediate microsystem break down, the child will not have the tools to explore other parts of his or her environment. So again, when I'm saying microsystem, it has something to do with the immediate environment of the child that includes the family and the others. And if this one is damaged, it's broken down, then it will be hard for him to go to another system. Children looking for affirmation in the parent or child relationship look for attention in inappropriate places. So, this is the time that we say that if a child cannot be nurtured at home, then he's going to find his way in the other places, in the other systems, not in microsystems. But it's good, of course, if we're going to do it within the microsystem. So adolescents here, development to antisocial, lack of self-discipline, inability to write self-direction. If there's the instability of the ones that happen at home, teachers should look into the child's environment to understand his or her behavior. This is really important. So that's why if you will be teachers, you are not just going to teach, but you are going to really assess your students individually and imagine that in a public school, the ideal one is 25, more like that. Okay, schools and teachers can provide stability and long term relationships, but only to support and not to replace relationships at home. There's no place like home, as they say. School should be a place that welcomes and nurtures family.